Welcome back to another episode of the South by East podcast, where we discuss everything from music to culture and in between. Brail, what do we have today?
Man, John, we got a great clip here from Dave Ramsey. If you guys haven't heard, Dave Ramsey is someone who gives a lot of great advice and teaching on financial liberty and managing your finances well. And I thought this would be a good one because we've talked about tipping here on the show before, tipping culture and different practices in that. And I think that Dave has a really practical way of approaching this. So let's check out what he has to say and then we'll break that down.
I put tipping in the category of generosity, and so I am a lavish, ridiculous tipper, with one exception. I refuse to do the iPad. Turn it around when I just walked up to the counter and you handed me a biscuit.
Yeah.
I'm done with that, okay? That's bull crap. I mean, Sharon and I are out for fine dining, and we get service. Someone served us. Someone cared for us. We have a wonderful experience, the food, the service, everything. The tip is going to be ridiculous because I get great joy from that. I watched a guy the other day in a valet, pulled up in a Mercedes, and I knew the car is about a $130,000 car, and he hands the guy $5. You just handed him a $140,000 car with the keys, and you cheaped out.
Oh, great point.
This is a bad plan.
It's a bad plan.
You're not. It's not going to turn out well for you.
Yeah.
Instead, I hand him a lot more, and I go, hey,
that kind of car.
Can that car still be sitting there when I get out here?
Yeah.
Mr. Ramsey, we'll put it right there.
Yeah, man. So I love that he says it's about generosity, but he also brings it back to the practical. One of my friends, you may know him, once told me when I was leaving a car, we were doing something together in the car. I had my laptop. He's like, "Hey, put that under the seat. We don't want to tempt our brothers more than they can bear."
Amen.
We don't want to tempt our brothers more than they can bear. He's like, "Hey, fam, if I'm coming through and they can see that I am at least presenting a certain amount of money, I want to make sure that the way that I tip them does not come off as an insult, but gives them incentive to take care of my things as well," which I think is a smart way. I think that's a smart way to roll. But how do you feel about tipping, John?
So I wanna dovetail this in. One, a real world example. The other night I got to go to the Ironman Topeka's own John Cantrell boxing match. Yeah. And here's the deal. I grew up in the 80s where we would pool money together to watch the Tyson fights, the Hagler fights, all those kind of things, even MMA fights later on in life. If you are any kind of fight fan at all and you're not supporting the John Cantrell local fights, what are you doing? Because the title fight was the John Cantrell fight, but there was two lower card fights, man, that were just absolutely phenomenal. One, Dominique Alexander, was coaching one young man that he actually lost the fight, but it was a phenomenal fight. Anyway, I'm at the fight. I'm trying to stay on my eating plan, and I was a guest there. I go and buy a bottle of water and a bag of popcorn. Right. The popcorn is already bagged up,
right,
and the bottle of water is just sitting there.
Right.
It came to over $10.
Of course.
All right.
Yeah.
And they flipped around the iPad, and it was there. And the woman kind of looks at me longingly, right? And I'm like,
longingly. I
mean, it started at I think 18% or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, I can't bring myself to tip you for pivoting and grabbing popcorn and water for me.
Right.
Now, I'm still like, I hadn't had dinner, I'm still hungry, so I had to go back and buy another popcorn and water.
Right.
Same deal. Now, for 2 bags of popcorn and 2 waters, I've spent $25 or so, like $26, over $25.
Right.
And I was like, and once again, she looks at me, and I'm like, I can't do it. Now, I agree with Dave. Like, man, when I go to a restaurant, I want to tip. I want to, here's the deal. You know this, you've been with me. I like one of the first things I do always is ask our waiter or waitress their name. Mm-hmm. Then I most of the time I'm gonna ask if I could pray for them,
right.
And then I want to tip well. Yeah. And throughout the meal, I wanna refer to them by name, not waiter, not waitress. I wanna because Dale Carnegie says the sweetest sound a person can hear is their own name, mm-hmm. And so I want to do that and lean into that. And I believe when great service has been given, you should tip. I have a problem on when I go pick up food or something like that, or even this drive-through Starbucks. I have a problem tipping. Here's why. Your actual product is coffee.
Right.
In order for I may be wrong about this. How is you making the coffee drink, which I don't go to Starbucks really. Mm-hmm. But if I go to Starbucks, how is me driving to the drive-thru and getting a coffee from Starbucks different than me driving to the drive-thru and getting a burger from McDonald's? People, look, I know they're a barista and there's a cook at McDonald's and a fry cook.
That's true.
And like, they're just behind in the kitchen and normally we can't see them, but in the barista we can see, but it's still the same deal. Like, so how is it, like, your product is that, like, there was no more service there. I had to come to a counter, I had to drive through whatever, there was no more service given. Mm-hmm. And so my deal is like, that for me is different. Like if I was sitting at a table and you bring me coffee and you've been refilling my coffee while I'm sitting here studying, I'm breaking you off. I'm breaking you off because I feel like I should, like you have been serving me, and that's different. And I just feel like we got to a place where there's not really service. So here's another practical example. Because of what I do and some of the places I sit in around the state, I actually I'm a part of the groups for different cities in the state. So there's the Lawrence group. I think it's like Long Live Lawrence or something like that. Life Lawrence, something like that. And then there's a group for Pittsburgh, Kansas that I follow for different reasons. Mm-hmm. There's different groups. And in the Lawrence group, several months back, there was a young lady who was a DoorDash driver that says people need to normalize tipping a whole tank of gas when you DoorDash.
A whole tank?
So
the full tank of gas?
Her expectation is, she said, if y'all guys were really compassionate people, kind of deal, you need to normalize that when you order your Chipotle, that you need to tip me a whole tank of gas. Now, you and I both know that they've already, this is why I don't DoorDash.
Already added an upcharge on it just for the delivery.
Just for the delivery and everything else, right? So and it wasn't enough that you tipped on top of the delivery charge. Because my deal is, they already add a fee for your service in there. Your only part of this transaction is to deliver the food. You didn't make the food.
Right.
You delivered food. They added a fee. You agreed to work for
that amount.
I still think I'm gonna break you off a little bit and tip you. Something. Just thank you.
Bought my food. Yeah.
But then you say a whole tank of gas, and you know what that does in me?
I ain't tipping nothing.
That makes me like not want to tip anything.
So I've shifted on this a little bit because I know we've talked on this before, and I've shared a little bit of my sordid past. How I would only tip for service that I deemed tippable. Like I needed to be wowed by the service. And it's not, I remember my standards weren't super high, but I needed to be wowed by the service. And then I had a friend of mine who was sitting there listening to me give my dogmatic philosophy who also had worked as a server, and he about got up and slapped me in the teeth. And he explained to me how it was being a server, and I was like, okay. So that was like my first shift. But since we even talked about this last on the podcast, and if you can find the episode where that was, and you could post it in the comments, you will get like one of the care emojis from me. But since we last talked about this on the podcast, I've shifted even a little more. I love the word Dave used, generosity. Mm-hmm. When I think about generosity, it also takes me to grace. Mm-hmm. Grace is unmerited favor. It's undeserved good things, to make it simple. Mm-hmm. When I think about generosity, I also think of undeserved good things. When I've seen people, the people I know that have been the most generous in my life, they have poured into me. Not that it was just out of nowhere, but they have poured into me in ways that I did not deserve. And so when I think about generosity and being generous to others, I want to do the same thing. Mm-hmm. And so even if it is undeserved, I want to give above and beyond. I think where the rub comes in here, at least for me, is that we have removed serving so far from it being personal. When I'm being generous to another person. I'm not really interested in being generous to Starbucks, the corporation. I'm not really interested in being generous to Squarespace, like on your iPad. Like, I'm not really interested in being generous to some unseen, unknown corporation or faceless entity. Mm-hmm. I am interested in being generous to Megan, being generous to Darren, being generous to Mark. Like, if I know that person. And so I think that's one piece of it that's a rub, where it's like, when I'm coming up to the iPad, it's like, we've barely interacted. There really has been, I don't feel like I'm being generous to you. And I'll say too, this is the second piece. There is a time where I do tip the iPad. And it's at a place that's local here in Topeka. It's called the Milk and Honey Coffee Lounge.
Oh, yeah.
And at Milk and Honey, I know the baristas. I know the people who work there.
Different. There's a relationship.
Coffee. There's a relationship there. And when they turn that iPad around, they're like, hey, you can skip. Here's how you skip that. I just need you to sign for your thing. You're able to give a tip or not. And I'm like, hey, I know this is a young high school girl who's been employed from the area, from the neighborhood. Yeah, I'm going to support this business. I'm going to support this organization. And I think that's the difference, is that we have kept the tipping, but we've removed all of the actual interpersonal relationship in there. And that, I think, is what sours people's hearts.
Here's the difference in what you're just saying. Milk and Honey, one, I've seen them supporting my community. Mm-hmm. Two, man, I go there and I sit there and they'll come check on me. If I'm sitting there working, drinking, or whatever else, they'll come, they know me by name. Yep. Also, I know that they donate a part of the proceeds to scholarships at our local high schools, right? So all those things, I'm breaking them off.
Yeah,
they can spend, because at that point, the iPad is not a crutch or a replacement, it's a tool.
It's a tool.
And that's my deal. I don't mind the iPad or the electronic thing being a tool, but when it becomes a mask or just like, I have a problem with that. And my deal is like, I really do feel like I live a generous life. Mm-hmm. I do.
I would agree.
And I just have a problem though, is like, when the expectation or standards are like out of place, that rubs me, man. Yeah. That rubs me. And I was just like, I'm at this event, and I come, like, me and you have gone to baseball games together.
Yep.
When every single one of those baseball games, I get the same thing when I go. I'm gonna get a bag of peanuts and a bottle of water.
Nasty peanuts, yeah.
We sit in the same section pretty much every time. Yep. And I go to the same concession stand every time. Yeah. And the person pivots, gets the bottle of water, gets the bag of the bag of peanuts sits on the counter.
Right.
I struggle to say I'm not being generous when how is that different from the convenience store worker that checks me out at the gas station? Am I supposed to tip them too?
And honestly, bro, if they weren't there, if you just move the popcorn and water up just a little bit, I could grab it myself, pay, and walk off. I could grab it myself.
But they have those. Here's the deal. at a lot of stadiums now, they have the walk-through stores. You actually open the cooler, get your water. They have the bags of popcorn or peanuts there and candy. Mm-hmm. You self-ring you out, and on the iPad, when you get ready to ring out, guess what? They still ask for a tip. And that is...
Yeah, no, that's
insane. Man,
that
is insane.
It's insane.
It is insane.
Yep. No, I agree, man. I agree. But what do y'all think? Should we tip in all situations, or is there a nuance to this thing? We want to hear about y'all. We want to hear about your nuances. We want to hear about them in the comment section. Also, if you can find the last time we talked about tipping and post it in there, you'll get a special emoji from me. We'd love to see it. Continue to like, comment, subscribe, follow us here, especially on Facebook, where we're building our community, and on all of your favorite podcast platforms. And we'll see you next week
in the intersection.